Previously on Trace Velo.
Okay, so the Toseek Carbon Aero handlebars here. I've ridden them about 8,500 miles or 13,800 kilometers. And yeah, they have been completely faultless.
Completely faultless.
Now, sorry to stop you here, ladies and gents, but it's a bit of a milestone moment for me today. I've actually got a legit and a relevant sponsor for today's episode. Now, first off, this is my new studio. I moved house the other day. The episode you're about to watch, I actually filmed in my old gaff before I left. But this is where I'll be doing them from now on. Anyway, I've had quite a lot of stick in the past from some of you lot actually about the cycle glasses that I wear. Now, my sister bought me these cycle glasses years ago. They've been great, but they do fog up super easily. And when you've got them on, they do kind of look like prescription glasses for young children. But funnily enough, a while back, this company called Siroko shot me an email about the cycle glasses they produce, and they are freaking great. So I've been wearing their K3 model. This is specifically their Alpe d'Huez in the black and green. And yeah, what do they like to wear? Well, they're super lightweight. These are only 27 grams for the pair, and they're crazy comfortable when you've got them on. They've also got these nice narrow arms here on the glasses, so they slip under your helmet really easily, and you basically forget you've got them on after a while. And also, the lenses never fog up, so I'll try and show you. They've got these kind of vents, you'll be able to see them at the top here, that kind of let the air flow through to stop them fogging up. And the lenses are also super easy to swap out, so if you wanted to pick up some new ones with a different color or a different style, that's super easy as well. Now, I always use photochromic lenses when I cycle because I often cycle in the evenings after work, so it can be super sunny when you head out, but by the time you get back, it can be nearly pitch black. And the lenses on these K3s will account for that. So they'll go from nice and dark in the sun to virtually clear in the shade or in the dark in about 60 seconds. The lenses are also polarized, and you can see that in front of my monitor here. The glasses on the left are my old unpolarized cycle glasses, and the ones on the right are the K3s. Really great for filtering out glare and reflections on the road. So yeah, all round, freaking amazing glasses. Now, I've had people ask me to review cheap cycle glasses from AliExpress, but I've always been a bit cautious because with cheap glasses, you can never really be sure about the UV protection. Now, darker lenses, they will dilate your pupils, but if those lenses don't properly filter out the UVA and UVB rays, those harmful rays are gonna pour in and it could damage your retinas over time. So for that reason, I've personally always chosen quality sunglasses, and it's kind of what I would recommend. And that is what you get with Siroko. So now you can pick up these photochromic bad boys here. You can pick these up for £46, which is super reasonable in my opinion. But if you use my delicious link that I've put down in the video description, you'll get an extra 10% off, which is pretty awesome. Now, they do a couple of different designs for both men and women, and they've got loads of different color choices and lens choices and stuff like that. They've genuinely been an awesome company to work with. I love their products. These glasses are wicked. I use them on every single ride now. Plus, they somehow agreed to sponsor this massive loser right here. So there's got to be something to be said for that. Anyway, please check them out in the link below. Thank you for bearing with me, and yeah, enjoy the episode. Hello, and welcome back, ladies and gents, to another, frankly, dreadful Trace Velo production. My name, as always, is Luke. So, I alluded to the fact in the intro that my Toseek Carbon Aero handlebars here were broken. This is not technically true. My set are actually completely fine.
I'm not going to give you a question.
Can you state categorically?
You are fake news.
Sir,
go ahead.
Can you state categorically that nobody...
So yeah, my set of bars here, these are actually completely fine, no issues no issues at all actually. But a set that I did actually feature in my first video on the topic, yeah, they have actually busted. These ones in particular. So as far as I'm concerned, these carbon handlebars that I've had on my bike are completely solid, and I've got complete faith in them. So these bars that I've been showing you, I bought these, basically, they're exactly the same, but I bought them because it meant that I didn't have to pull apart the entire front end of my bike and disassemble everything just to show you. And after that video went up, a colleague of mine called Tom asked if those handlebars were going spare, which they were. So he actually ended up putting them on his bike, and less than 300 miles later, yeah, this is the result. Okay, so here are the bars in question, and from a quick cursory glance, they still look fine, to be honest with you, and they're kind of holding up okay. But take a closer look, and they are completely busted. So you've got a big hole in the front there, and then there's a big crack along the top. Turn them over a bit, we've got a nice big crack running down the side, and then turn them over, woof. Yeah, all this stuff is completely shredded. So you'd have the stem clamp bolt here, and this is the internal cable routing hole, and just along this axis here, yeah, it's just all completely turned to shrapnel basically. So there was clearly some really poor carbon layup just in this region, and it's led to this whole right hand side catastrophically failing. I'll give it a little flex and you'll see what I mean. Oh, it sounds so gross. And yeah, you can see, yeah, just completely busted. I mean, funnily enough, it snapped right next to this very well-placed sticker, which I'm not sure if you can read it, but it says QC passed, which stands for quality control, but maybe in this case it was questionable carbon. But either way, not particularly impressive. Anyway, for this particular design of handlebar, this region here, this is a very high stress region because all the force of you pressing down on the hoods or maybe grabbing the drops and giving it welly in a sprint, all of that force is concentrated right here, and this is exactly where it's failed. It is quite interesting to look at this failure, however, because it shows really well how carbon fiber tends to break. Many people assume that when carbon breaks, it's like a brittle plastic and it will just snap off. This is generally not what happens, and carbon fiber acts a lot like wood in a number of ways, so it will kind of splinter and crack before it fails, and even afterwards it can retain its shape really well, just like it's done here. So luckily, Tom, the guy that was using these bars when they failed, was totally unharmed by the incident. In fact, he told me that when he was riding along, he didn't even notice they were broken straight away. He just kind of felt them go a little bit spongy. So he pulled over to the side of the road and then saw the damage underneath. Now, Tom is a very, very experienced cyclist. He's been cycling for decades and he's a fit guy. Plus, he knows his way around bike maintenance. So I can assure you that when he fitted these, he didn't compromise the structural integrity of them in any way. They've just flat out failed. Now, another instance of these bars failing was actually sent to me by one of you guys. So Adam in Pembrokeshire emailed me recently with a few photos. They show cracks around the stem clamp area, and Adam assured me that when he mounted the handlebars, he used a torque wrench set to 4 Newton meters, which is a very standard and very typical kind of torque setting for carbon handlebars, but they straight up cracked. I don't have the bars here to show you, but you should be able to see from the photos, the bars are completely knackered, which is a real shame. Now, I'm sure that you can fathom in both of these instances, the brakes had the potential to end very, very badly for the riders involved. I've said time and again that quality with these cheaper bike parts is never guaranteed, and these two instances are prime examples of that. I mean, it can be super alluring to try and replicate the approach that I have done here and kind of save some big bucks on bike parts, and it definitely can work. I mean, my seemingly identical set of bars have been rock solid for over 2 years and over 8,000 miles. But it's still a gamble at the end of the day. People ask me all the time, how can I tell if I'm gonna get a decent product before I buy these cheaper bike parts? And the answer is always the same. There's no real way of telling. The best you can do is read the reviews from the seller and try and make an informed choice. Going into purchases like this, you need to be well aware of the risks up front. And ultimately, if you want to guarantee that you're buying good quality bike parts, then yeah, you just got to fork out and buy from a reputable manufacturer. I mean, you could argue not only are you paying for kind of a good quality product, but you're also paying for that peace of mind as well. However, if you do want to kind of take a chance and have a go at kind of purchasing some of these cheaper bike parts, because I think I've demonstrated on this channel that it definitely can work and you can pick up some absolutely amazing kit for, yeah, a really decent price. So if you do want to give that a go, then I have some sage, hand-picked, artisanal advice for you. There is a definite pattern that I've noticed with these cheaper bike parts over the years, and that is if they're going to fail or throw up issues for you, they'll do so in the first few hundred miles or few hundred kilometers. This can be seen with the Sensar Empire group set that I showed, failed after about 500 miles. The set of cheap magnesium pedals that I got off AliExpress, they started squeaking horribly and couldn't really be fixed after about 500 miles. My set of cheap carbon rims that I got from eBay, those went out of true after about 400 miles. And yeah, these bars here, which failed catastrophically at 300 miles. So with these cheaper bike parts, you need to QC them or quality control them yourself, because as we've demonstrated today, that QC sticker that they put on these products means fuck all basically. So yeah, put these parts on your bike and test them out yourself. So yeah, give them a good shakedown, stand up on the pedals and put some torque through the frame or the wheels or whatever it is you've put on your bike. Only once you are personally happy with them and you've gone a few hundred miles without any issues, only then should you kind of trust your life to these cheaper bike parts on a steep descent or something like that. Buying cheaper bike parts, like some of the stuff I've demonstrated on this channel previously, it always comes with a bit of risk. So manage that risk yourself. Blindly kind of trusting these cheaper bike parts is a very dangerous game. I mean, you might be totally fine. In fact, the vast majority of the cheaper bike parts that I've ever bought from AliExpress and eBay have been completely solid. But failures like the ones I've demonstrated here today, these do happen. So you've got to be aware of these things. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I think it's really important to showcase these failures to you guys on the channel, because I mean, it would be super easy for me to gloss over these problems because my particular set of handlebars has been absolutely fine, but that's a bit dishonest and a bit of a douchebag move, to be honest with you. So I think it's important to show these breakages to you guys. But if you have bought these bars yourself, in all likelihood, they're probably going to be totally fine. But yeah, do keep an eye on them, be safe, be informed, and manage the risk. Because with this cheap carbon fiber life, it ain't always peaches and cream, baby. Anyway, freaking subscribe if you enjoy stuff like this. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this little video that I've kind of chucked together. And if you've got any questions or comments about these busted up carbon handlebars here, or carbon handlebars in general, then throw them in the comments below and I'll try and get back to as many of you as I can. Anyway, that's all we've got for this episode. So I'll see you all in the next one.